Hello and welcome back to Green-HillGaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this live stream I'm playing Streets of Rage 4, we're playing arcade, and you will see how far I will get. So sit back, relax, stay safe, but as always, more importantly, enjoy the live stream. So in arcade mode, you only get, I think you get like 2 or 3 lives. And when you lose those lives, it's game over. So you got to see how far you can get into the game with those 3 lives. So will I be able to make it to the end of the game with just 3 lives? I doubt it very much, but nonetheless, I will see how far I can get. So it's a really old school type of a mode, really. Real retro, vintage mode, really. Kind of what you would expect in the old days on the arcade. You'd go into the arcade, you'd put in your money, you get 3 or 4 lives, and as soon as those lives ran out, that was the end of it. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening in this live stream. See, in arcade mode, you only get 1 credit to finish the whole game story in one go. You can't save it. Ready for the ultimate old school experience? I am indeed. And hello to my viewer, very welcome to Green-HillGaming, where I am live streaming Streets of Rage 4, and I'll be playing arcade mode, finding out how far I can get in the game. So great to have you in the live stream. As always, I hope that you're keeping well and enjoy the live stream. Easy, normal, hard, hardest, mania. You know what? I've been playing a lot of Streets of Rage 4. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. I was playing a lot of Streets of Rage 4. I actually haven't played it for a good few weeks, but you know, like when I was playing Streets of Rage 4, I was playing a whole lot of it. Like, so I'm actually going to go with hard mode. I feel confident enough to go with hard mode. Like, yeah, I will too. And I'm going to choose. I'll never call him Floyd. I'll always call him Jax. Jackson Briggs from Mortal Kombat. That's what he is. I mean, look, as I always say, I mean, look at the similarities between Floyd and Jackson Briggs. I mean, like, he's black, he's muscly, he's more or less a cop. Jackson Briggs all the way. Ten years have passed since the fall of Mr. X and his syndicate. The city has been at peace until now. A new crime syndicate has arisen, corrupting everything good in the city. It is rumored to be led by Mr. X's own children, the X-twins, former detectives Pascal Stone, Blaze Fielding, joined forces with her old friend's daughter, Sherry Hunter, along with Floyd Irian, the apprentice of the... Okay, too terrible to read the rest. It's too fast for me. Streets of Rage 4. So I think it's 3 lives you have. The streets. 4 actually. 4. I always find it funny trying to explain the life system in classic games. You basically, like, there's no other way to describe it apart from, even though it says I have 3 lives, I actually have 4 lives. And the more my score increases, higher a chance I'll actually get a new life. Knuckle sandwich, knucklehead sandwich. That's what I'm going to call that move, knucklehead sandwich, because they're knuckleheads. And I've sandwiched them together. pricks. So yeah, I actually feel very confident playing on hard mode. Cunt. Skillage in the Resident Evil village. No, honestly, it's insane how much I've actually played this game back to front. Like, I've actually played this game on 2 consoles. I hate those sliding bastards. So I would say because I'm playing it on hard mode and because it's arcade mode, you'd need to get a pretty high score to actually gain an extra life. Crap, you bitch slapped me. You know how John Cena has the knuckle sandwich, or the 5 knuckle sandwich move? One of his 5 moves, one of his moves on his 5 moveset. Yeah, just fucked up what I was going to say. But I had the knuckle head sandwich, and it's better. I hate these fuckers so much. idiot. There's actually oh no, hold up a second. Yeah, this is actually a long enough stage, actually, the opening stage. So, I was wondering what he was. What the fuck? I know we don't use those special moves, but special occasion. Arcade live stream. Why not? What the? Oh, damn. That's actually really annoying. Lost one life, so no, I have 3 lives. No idea. So there's, if I can remember, there's a total of 12 stages in Streets of Rage 4. So one down, 11 to go, with 3 lives remaining. If I hadn't, just a fun fact, if I hadn't used those 3 special moves, I would have gotten a higher score, which would have taken me to the next milestone in my lifetime score, which would have unlocked Another character for me to play. This is actually one of my favourite stages. I love how they fight amongst themselves. Ah, look how I can't use the health because I'm not close enough. Glitch through the wall there, did you see that? Hidden stage, a hidden boss.
I'm done making complicated stories and newer versions of original characters, says the Paper Mario producer, Elbow Cop.
Chad Middleton, welcome to the live stream and thank you for that interesting Paper Mario review quote, I would presume, from Kotaku. How are you keeping, Chad? How are things? Welcome to my Streets of Rage 4 live stream. I'm playing arcade. seconds. I'm done making complicated stories and newer versions of original characters. It says the Paper Mario producer. Sorry, I read that wrong. That's from the producer. Well, so he's done making complicated stories.
I had better days. How are you doing?
Ah, no way, man. No way. I can relate to that, man. I can relate to that. Each day is a new day, I suppose. Not too bad at all. No thanks, Chad. So that's coming from the Paper Mario producer. Complicated stories. He's done making complicated stories and newer versions of original characters. Huh. I don't know. To be honest with you, like, I have to admit, like, I'm not running out there buying Paper Mario because I haven't, like, really been huge fans. I haven't been a huge fan of the latest Paper Mario games, to be honest with you. I have to admit that, like. I enjoyed the one. There was a cross between Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi. I enjoyed that one. I was looking at the battle system for the new Paper Mario, right? And like, I'm not jumping up and down for it, to be honest with you, like. Circle,
yes, the
puzzle.
Paper Mario fans are confused and in uproar over that interview.
Yeah, it's very strange. Complicated stories. Man, he should try making Death Stranding. He wants to talk about complicated stories. What's so complicated about a Mario game? Like, I know, like, it's an RPG, like, and it focuses more on story compared to the mainline Mario games. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm in uproar, but certainly confused by these comments. That's for sure. I don't know, like, what he means by he's tired of doing complicated stories. I don't know. I'd like if Nintendo and Square Enix brought back Mario RPG, like the original Mario RPG franchise. I love the Mario and Luigi games. I don't think I've actually ever had any problem with the Mario and Luigi game. But my first Paper Mario game was the one on the Wii. No, I didn't get very far into it because I was victim to that weird glitch in the game where I ended up talking to a character and the next minute my fucking TV just like was buzzing like so loud I nearly fucking shat myself, to be honest with you. The whole Wii froze, so I had to bring it back and I haven't played it since. What was the next Paper Mario game? I don't even know. I think I downloaded the original Paper Mario on the Virtual Console. I really enjoyed that. The original one. But I don't know, like, I didn't like this whole like sticker fucking star thing, and now like this whole thing with like this big fucking.
I played Superstar Saga on GBA and Bowser's Inside Story on DS.
Yeah, they're great games, the Mario and Luigi series, man. Absolutely. No, but like this new battle system, man, is like fucking. It's like, do you know the way there was a crossover with Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario? Yeah, I love that crossover. But I can't say I'm particularly a fan of a crossover between Paper Mario and Wheel of fucking Fortune. Do you know what I mean? It's like this big wheel that you're spinning, and like you have to line up the enemies. If I want to play a puzzle game, I'll play a puzzle game. If I want to play an RPG game, I'll play a Paper Mario. Do you know? I don't like that kind of. No, I'm not bashing the whole game in general. I just can't say that I'm a huge fan of the battle system. And I've been watching reviewers, like, and you can see that the reviewers are trying to kind of like sugarcoat it, like they're trying to kind of say, oh well, you know, you get used to it. You know, I'm sick of that being used every single time. Like, I don't want to get used to it. You know what I mean? I'd rather just have a traditional battle system. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the battle system, at least anyway. Oh man, I can live life. Oh god, that was fluky. But yeah, Chad, that's certainly a very strange quote to come from the actual producer of Paper Mario. Well, come here to me, Chad. Is he the producer of the entire Paper Mario series? Or is he just the producer of the last couple of Paper Mario games?
Right, they're the same sugar coating that says the game will be better after 20 hours.
I know, yeah, Jesus, like, that's what they're doing, man. They sugarcoat, like, the main criticisms that people have of the game, because they don't want people to, you know, they don't want people to, like, some of these reviewers, man, they're probably getting paid by Nintendo, like, and the other companies to, that's why I don't really kind of watch much reviews, to be honest. No, but like, I mean, I know I'd enjoy it, like, I would enjoy it, Paper Mario, the new ones, the Origami, fucking Origami King. Am I saying that right? But I probably would like it now, to be fair. It's just, I don't see why they have to make a battle system so fucking bizarre, like, you know? Like, I know Nintendo are all about, like, keeping their franchises as fresh as they possibly can and whatever, like, but... yeah, I don't want to go on about it too much. Because this arcade mode is pretty difficult, as you can see. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right. Oh, I was hoping that would be... I was hoping I'd get a health drop. Chad, have you played Mario or have you played Mario RPG? The original Mario RPG, like, that's kickstarted the likes of Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi. Have you played that game? That's what I want. I want to see that come back. That was a great game. Or even if it just, again, like, even if it just one, I don't want to talk about this for the entire live stream, like, but even if they brought back the Mario and Luigi series as well, like.
I haven't played the original one. I tried an emulator, but it didn't feel right to me.
What, the emulator or just the game in general? So I know some emulators can be really annoying, right? Like, I'd recommend getting it even if you have a Wii lying around or a Wii U. I think you can get it on the Wii U Virtual Console as well. Oh shit, I was almost... lives remaining. I'm hoping that in the next stage I might be able to get enough points to get a new life. From the looks of things, I don't think I'll be getting very far in arcade mode in this live stream. Be cool if I could knock him out the window.
I think it's the producer for Sticker Star in the newer Paper Marios.
Interesting. Very interesting. I was thinking that all right now myself. It's interesting. It's interesting for me because I didn't like the latest Paper Mario games. Again, I didn't like the whole Sticker Star thing. all Streets of Rage 2 characters have now been unlocked. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the whole sticker thing going around, like collecting stickers and using the stickers in battle. Like, why can't I just have an RPG Mario game that's all about paper, like Paper Mario? Like, why can't I have that but still have the traditional RPG elements, especially when it comes to, you know, turn-based combat? That's what I can't understand. Why they have to just dramatically like change the battle system. It's crazy. So interesting. Like, it's almost like he doesn't want to. By the songs of it, it's like he doesn't want, because when he says he's done making complicated stories,
he
it's like
said since Sticker Star it's been hard to make complicated stories that take a universe. Emoji thinking face.
Oh, so he doesn't want to take it away from the Mario universe. But like, it's Mario, like, Jesus Christ, you could do anything in the Mario universe. It's completely like the definition of fictional, and you've got fucking half turtle, half dragon, fucking furries, fucking kidnapping princesses. Like, I mean, that would fit right in today's world. Like, what's so complicated about that?
Maybe he's just lazy.
Do you know what? It sounds like he is, to be honest. It really does sound like he is. Ghost of fucking Ghost of Samurai is coming out tomorrow as well. To be honest with you, like, I'm actually more inclined to get that. I actually might just get that and hold off on Paper Mario until I see enough of it, like, to be happy enough with it, you know. I just want a proper Mario RPG game, you know, where you can just like go from one end of the map to the other end of the map. What about, like, imagine a Breath of the Wild type Mario RPG? Can you imagine that? Wouldn't that be insane? Yeah, safe to say, I'm a huge fan of the traditional Mario and RPG game, and also Mario and Luigi. I just think these, like, I hate to say it, like, I hate to say the term, like, but these, like, half-arsed, like, Mario RPG games that we've seen with the latest Paper Mario games, like, not particularly a fan of, to be honest with you, especially when they
discovered a secret experience system for Breath of the Wild.
Did they? It's crazy how they're still discovering stuff. You know that when you make these huge open world games, people still discover things from them years later. So I love about those kind of games. Anyway, I could be talking about Mario RPG until the cows come home, to be honest with you. But yeah, all I can say is bring back Mario RPG. Look at my head. So much talking here now, I'm fucking losing. Oh shit. And you were laughing at Fatso. Shit. Now I literally have one life. Talked about intense. Oh, I have to say, that producer is an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. Like, there's nobody saying that he has to turn Mario into a fucking into a cop that's been, like, transformed into, like, another dimension, and he's, like, saving the planet from alien gangsters, and the gameplay centers around racing. What am I even saying? Like, what I'm saying is, like, he's an idiot, is what I'm saying. In a nutshell. But, like, he doesn't have to make the story complicated or anything. There's nobody saying you have to make it complicated. There's nobody saying that it can't be within the Mario universe. I've always said to myself for many years that the Mario universe can very easily be expanded. I mean, look at it like this, right? You've got Mario, you've got Luigi, you've got all the different Toads, you've got Peach, you've got Donkey Kong, technically, you have Daisy, you have Wario, you have Waluigi. I mean, I could go on. You've got all these different locations. I mean, like, where do the Toads live? Where do the Goombas live? And they're the enemies, by the way. You got Goombas. I died, by the way. Came over for me, an arcade. You've got Bowser himself. You've got Bowser Jr. You've got the Koopalings. I mean,
we just had a baby DR Wario.
You know, like, yeah. Like, what's amazing is they're bringing in, like, all these characters into their mobile games. Right? Dr. Warrior, and they're expanding on the Mario universe by bringing in Dr. fucking Warrior, like, and he's in what you call it, they brought in new characters, not new characters, but they brought in all these kind of like Dr. Warrior type characters into the Mario Kart Tour mobile game. And then this producer's coming out saying, oh, I don't want to make any complicated Paper Mario games, I don't want to move away from the main franchise. Like, here's what I would do, right? If I had fucking the creative control, if I was working at Nintendo and I had the creative control behind the next Paper Mario game, I would actually create, I would go back to basics. I'd actually work with Square Enix, right? I wouldn't need to, but I would do it just to pay respect to Square Enix, considering they were actually the ones who created the original RPG Mario, which is actually literally called Mario RPG. And I would create like a Breath of the Wild type RPG, an open world RPG, where you're basically in the Mushroom Kingdom. You know the way Breath of the Wild, you got to explore every corner of Hyrule, the Kingdom of Hyrule, yeah? Well, my idea would be you get to explore every corner of the Mushroom Kingdom. And like, it's so expansive because you've got all these different areas. You've got the, you know, every species, if you want to call it that. Basically every enemy in Mario, every character would have their own little kind of town, village, city, whatever, right? So, you know, you'd have Toad Town, Goomba Village, whatever else, right? All these places you can go to visit, and they'd all have their own like story and side quests. And it can easily be expanded. You could easily expand all that. I don't see why it's complicated. You know, you don't have to turn into a serious game. You don't have to turn into Grand Theft Auto, where like Bowser is this big massive drug dealer and he's eating all the magic shrooms. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Mario like is fucking pimping out Peach. Do you know, like, there's nobody saying like turn into Grand Theft Auto, like, for fuck's sake. It can still be a Mario game in the Mario universe. Just expand upon it. Expand upon, not the lore, but just expand upon it. Like, I just think that would be great. What would you think about that, Chad? Full on open world Mario RPG where you actually get to explore the Mushroom Kingdom. So like, Super Mario Odyssey is open world to an extent. Not fully open world, but it's I mean, like, you've got far more expansive areas than Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 3D World. You know, so I think it would work very well. If I do say so myself. Yeah, that producer is an idiot, seriously. He sounds like somebody who's just given up. Sounds like somebody who just doesn't have the creativity.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that. If only I'd worked for Nintendo. He sounds like he doesn't have the creativity to, or the creative drive to like to make like a quality Mario RPG. Like if you look at these games, especially I think it actually was Sticker Star, but there was definitely some type of Mario RPG. Look at the audio's gone right now. It's back. I think the battery is running low on my controller, but it was one game anyway, and it literally had like kind of like world 1 of 1. Do you know? It literally had like a world map system. So it's almost like these latest Paper Mario games are like they're trying to be more like traditional Mario games, like in terms of the 2D and in terms of the level system, than actually going all out with the RPG elements. And you can see that when they don't even have an experience system as well, like, and you can see that as well, like when they're removing the traditional battle system. It's almost like they don't want to make an RPG Mario game. That's what I think. It's almost like they're too kind of, oh well, you know, will Mario fans, it's not about, well, it's, you know what Nintendo need to realise, and I've noticed
I like
this.
seeing a town of toads in Mario and Luigi.
Me too, man. I love that, man. Then that's what I loved. I would recommend that you play, or even look up on YouTube, Mario RPG, and you will love it, because that's what you get. That's exactly what you get. Like, you get this entire village of Goombas, and they all have there's a Goomba family, and they all have their own personality, and you're visiting this Goomba village. I mean, think of how many times, right, we've all jumped on a Goomba and just completely disregarded a Goomba as just a brung piece of shite that you fucking stomp on and not think anything more of it, right? But all of a sudden, these Goombas have names, personalities, homes, stories, goals and aspirations, right? And the same with Koopas and Toads, right? That's what you want, you know, from a Mario RPG game. And I think that's unfortunately what we're seem to be lacking in more recent Mario RPG games. And I was forgotten now what I was going to say. I was talking about something, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I think Nintendo should actually take a lot more chances. I think they don't understand. There's a lot of people out there that don't even need to be Mario fans to actually pick up and buy a Mario game. And a perfect example I will actually give is Animal Crossing, especially Animal Crossing New Horizons. The success of that game is not only staggering in terms of like sales numbers, but it's very interesting to see the kind of people who have actually picked up Animal Crossing. There's a lot of people who have never played Animal Crossing before. They literally went out and bought a Switch just to play this game called Animal Crossing. They want to see what it's all about. And they love it. Because I'm enjoying the Facebook group page. And I've come across a lot of people, all sorts of people, who've never played Animal Crossing before. So like, I think this mentality that Nintendo seem to have where, oh well, you know, we don't want to move too much away from the mainline Mario series, we don't want to upset Mario fans. I don't think it's about that. I think if you make a game that's interesting enough, that people are talking about enough, then they'll go out and they'll pick it up and they'll play it and they'll enjoy it. That's what I think anyway, and I've seen that myself with Animal Crossing. So I think Nintendo, you know, they've got a long way to go before they shake off their like, I don't know, their old ways, so to speak. They're very old school in that kind of regard. They don't really like to change things up too much in terms of like, well, they do change, like, but it's kind of hard to describe what I'm saying. But I just think, like, it's been a long time since we got a game like Mario RPG. That's what I'll say. It's been a long time. In more recent years, there seem to be more closer to traditional 2D Mario games. Like, if I want to play a 2D Mario game, I'll play a 2D Mario game, you know? Like, don't have a game called Paper Mario if it's not going to be RPG, because Paper Mario started out as an RPG game. Like, it's very RPG-esque. Then you have then recently you've got Sticker Star, where you're going with stickers and to be honest with you, I think it was just a kind of a gimmicky kind of game that just took advantage of the touchscreen of the 3DS. I think, to be honest with you, I really do. Again, I played a bit of it, but I couldn't stick it. No pun intended. I couldn't stick or start. But I actually gave it away to somebody who enjoyed it a lot more than I did. So I was happy enough that it was in better hands. It was in better hands. So that made me happy.
What do you think of that Mario 3 5th anniversary and F-Zero Twitter account being found?
Oh man, I've seen that. Oh, do you know what, these things, you just want them to be confirmed so much, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really get excited, I get more anxious than excited, to be honest with you, if that's a good way of describing it. I just want those things to be confirmed, do you know, because if I look too much into it and I get too happy and then nothing comes of it, I'll be very annoyed. But I was watching a YouTuber yesterday, and he made me think of something I didn't think of, and a few people didn't think of. And do you notice the rumour direct that we're supposed to be getting on Monday, which is a strange day to have a direct? Well, he reckons that it could actually be just one of those kind of like Pokemon type direct, Smash type directs. Do you know, where it'll focus on like something. He reckons that it'll be the Mario 35th anniversary kind of like direct, and then obviously, like, hopefully that'll be where they'll announce the 3D remasters or remakes. So now I kind of hope that it isn't just a kind of a collection. I hope it isn't a kind of a bare bones collection though. I'd be really, really upset if that was the case, if they just had a bare bones, like, here Super Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy and 3D World. Enjoy. I'd be like, fuck off, like, really? Because I mean, I've played Super Mario 64 like back to front, like. Sunshine, to be honest with you, no, I wouldn't mind having that again. I wouldn't, even though I don't know, maybe it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago I started up Sunshine, but I didn't return to it. Sunshine, to be honest with you, no, wouldn't be too bad, but like, Super Mario Galaxy is too fresh as far as I'm concerned. Like, I know for some people they're literally born when Galaxy came out, which makes me feel old, to be honest with you. But to me anyway, it still feels fresh, like Galaxy. Like, you know, I've played it a good few times. And Super Mario 3D World, to be honest with you, like, I'm not gone too much on the whole 3D Land, 3D World type Mario games. This whole, like, kind of hybrid between 2D and 3D Mario games, not a particular fan of that. So if it's just those games as they are, I would be like, what the fuck, like. But a lot of people are kind of like prematurely kind of calling it Super Mario All-Stars 2 or Super Mario All-Stars 3D. Like, they're comparing it to the collection that we got on, well, I didn't get it because I wasn't playing SNES when I was young. I was a Sega Mega Drive guy. But the others played on SNES, which was the original Super Mario All-Stars, which had, I think it was Super Mario Bros. 1, 2 and 3, I think. And they were a lot more upscaled. Like, they looked better on the SNES, basically. Well, a lot of people are prematurely calling it, like, this collection, they're calling Super Mario All-Stars 3D, and they're saying that it'll be similar, like, that'll kind of upscale Super Mario 64 and Sunshine. But I don't know, I find it hard to believe, because what's going to happen then with 3D World? Like, are they going to, like, what are they going to do with that? Like, because the Wii U is basically more or less the same as the Switch in terms of specs. Like, okay, not exactly like it, but you know what I mean? It's not that much of a difference between Wii U and Switch, like, in terms of graphics and resolution and stuff. I mean, there's, in some cases, games actually perform better on the Wii U than they do on Switch, which is bizarre. But anyway, so yeah, I hope that if they are going to do it, like, I just hope they actually kind of go all out, like, and do a proper, like, remaster at the very least. I would say at the very least, be lethal if it was a remake. I know some people say, like, the DS was a remake. The DS wasn't a remake. It was more, I don't know what you would call it, to be honest with you, but I don't think it's fair to call it a remake. Like, I know they added in all new characters, like, you could play as finally got to play as Luigi, along with Yoshi
People would
and
complain
Wario.
about the stretch and pixelated graphics of Mario 64 on a 4K TV. Emoji happy tears.
Well, as you can tell from me anyway, people will complain about anything. Although I'm not really complaining, I'm just kind of giving constructive criticism. That's what I would say. Constructive criticism. But yeah, you're right though, Chad. People will complain regardless, like. But so yes, Chad, there is a rumored Nintendo Direct to take place on Monday's a strange day though. That's one thing I will agree on, that everybody has been saying. Monday is a very strange day to have a Direct. It's always been, I think more recently it's always been like Wednesday or Thursday. It's always been Wednesday or Thursday. Monday seems strange. Monday seems like something that could drop on YouTube. Do you know, you could just like having a cup of tea, check your phone, see a YouTube notification, boom, Nintendo 35th anniversary celebration, boom, 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 this is announced, you know. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But that's what I would like anyway. Again, is I would love to see. I don't know how they're going to do it though. Put it this way, right? I have been blown away by the Mafia trilogy, the Mafia remakes, right? Absolutely blown away. I just thought they were going to like remaster those games. Like I haven't even played any Mafia game, but I've seen what they look like, and I know that Mafia 1 was originally a PS2 game. To see that being remade, it's absolutely amazing. So if they did something like that, it could work. Like they could go all out like and actually remake Super Mario 64 along with Sunshine. Maybe all they need to do with Galaxy is maybe just like remaster it into HD. So maybe a full-on remake. Oh, you know, I was thinking in my head, like, what I would, at the very least, right, I would start with the very least. Okay? I would love a full-on remake of Super Mario 64 and maybe a high-quality remaster of Sunshine and Galaxy, and just keep Super Mario 3D World as it is. Maybe add in a couple of more levels or something just to make it like flashy. That's what I would say. But they would have the remasters of Sunshine and Galaxy would have to be high quality. You know, that's what I would want at the very least. The most, if I had to be greedy, I'd say a remake for like Super Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy. So that's what I'd like to see anyway, as far as the Super Mario 3D collection is concerned. But it would be great then though, like I know we only just got Paper Mario, but I still think it would be great like if they brought back Mario RPG, full scale RPG Mario again. That doesn't fucking shy away from going all out RPG like. That would be great. So yeah, I don't know what else to add there now. That's about it really in terms of that. As I said, this new Paper Mario and the Origami King, or whatever the hell it's called. I honestly think that it'll be a fun game to play it from start to finish. I honestly feel that.
SpongeBob and Mario have the same birthday.
That's insane. That's an insane fact. Absolutely insane fact. Yeah, I think it'd be a fun game to play. It's just, again, I just don't understand why game companies do this. Like, whose bright idea was it? Like, when they were developing Paper Mario and the Origami King, I'm just going to call it Paper Mario Switch. When they were developing Paper Mario Switch, like, whose bright idea was it, like, to just, do you know what we'll do now? We won't have a traditional battle system where you just select your input and play an RPG game. No, we'll take all that away. And you know what we'll do? We'll put in a giant fucking circle, and then within that giant circle there's other circles, and you move them around to line up your enemies. Isn't that great? And some fuckers said yes to that idea. I just don't understand why they do it. Like, I mean, there's other areas of the game that they can be fresh, change things up, but there's other ways you can do it. Like, long story short, I'm not a fan of the new battle system in Paper Mario Switch. But it'd be great. It'd be great if they had a demo. You know, if I could try it out for myself. Because I was watching it on YouTube. It's just hard to kind of like, it's hard to get a sense of the new battle system when you're watching it on YouTube. It really is. But I kind of want to.
I didn't like Yokai Watch for the battle mini game system.
I never played that game before. The only memory I have of that game is Reggie Fils-Aimé in his office dancing to it. That's just the most disturbing yet addictively hilarious video I've seen on YouTube in recent times. Good old Reggie. So yeah, just I don't know how else to put it, but as far as Paper Mario Switch is concerned, I think it looks like a fun game. I think it'll be funny, like in terms of the dialogue, the interactions, the story, the overall gameplay. It's always nice to get a different type of a Mario game, and I've always been a fan of the Paper Mario series and just RPG Mario games in general, but I'm just not a fan of the new battle system. And I suppose, like, on top of that, just this whole, like, kind of watered down, just kind of like diluted experience, like, just like they're deliberately, intentionally distancing themselves from the RPG genre. So it's like this, like, Paper Mario is either an RPG game or it's not. They need to decide. Like, Nintendo once and for all need to decide, are they making RPG Mario games, or are they making alternative action adventure Mario titles? So I'd like to be very definitive in terms of, like, do you know when they have, do you know all these definitive editions? I'd like if Nintendo had like a definitive explanation as to what the game actually is. Anyway, that's all I'll say about Paper Mario Switch. But RPG Mario games in general, I'm a huge fan of Mario and Luigi. Those games have never failed me in terms of, like, feeling like it's an RPG game, feeling like it, and they're absolutely hilarious. Like, I know Paper Mario is funny as well, but I just think Mario and Luigi just has the crown in terms of comedy. Like, that series is absolutely, like, hilarious. Like, and it's, I'm not just saying that, like, it really is hilarious. Like, you don't even have to be a fan of games or a fan of Mario to laugh at that game. Like, the dialogue is just quality. It really is funny. It will make anybody laugh, no matter who you are, what your sense of humor is. You will laugh playing Mario and Luigi, I'm telling you straight. In fact, I actually think it would have been great if they had went down that road with the new animated Mario movie, but I know they're actually not. It's actually based off some old Mario comic or something, or Mario cartoon, I don't know what it is, but if they went down the road of Mario and Luigi, it would have been hilarious. But anyway, huge fan of Mario and Luigi. Like that more than Paper Mario, to be honest with you. But just the emperor of RPG Mario games has to be the original Mario RPG. That's where it all started. That's the first time that Mario had any sort of RPG game, and they worked with Square Enix for that one. And you just got to see so much more of these, like, these Mario enemies and allies that you just wouldn't think twice of when you're playing traditional Mario games. It really expanded the Mario universe in every way, and it was proper RPG. You were gaining experience, you were leveling up, you had special abilities, turn-based combat, everything you would expect from an RPG game, considering that I came from Square Enix, who make Final Fantasy. So yeah, apart from an announcement of Super Mario 3D collection. I think it'd be absolutely fun. I'd be jumping up and down if they announced the return of Mario RPG. I've been saying it for a long time, to be honest with you. But there's all different reasons why these things don't happen, do you know what I mean? It's easy for us to sit here and, you know, demand these things and aggressively ask, like, why isn't this game, you know, available? I suppose when it comes to GTA 6, it's somewhat justifiable, but I don't know. Because you have to consider as well, like, Square Enix is actually not Squaresoft. Like, the company was originally called Squaresoft, then they became Square Enix. So you wouldn't know how many of the original development team are still around. You wouldn't know how many people nowadays at Square Enix would be interested, you know, in making a game like that, you know, because they're a business as well. Like, you know, they're not just gamers who like to play games, they're also a business, and they've got to look at a market, and they've got to realise, like, is there profit to be made, do you know what I mean, by making a Mario RPG game? Would it make sense in today's world, you know? So there's all those unfortunate things that you have to think about too, like, you know. But I think ideally it would be great if it happened, but let's see. We'll have to wait and see. So safe to say I didn't do very well in the arcade. And hello to my fourth viewer. Very welcome to Green-HillGaming, where I was playing Streets of Rage 4 arcade mode, and unfortunately I didn't get very far. I only got to the third stage. I was playing it on hard, to my defense. And the thing with arcade mode is you only get 3 lives? Or 4 lives? I can't remember. You only get a certain amount of lives anyway, and when those lives are gone, it's game over. So, but nonetheless, everyone is very welcome to the live stream. Hope you're all keeping well. So right now I'm just having a little bit of a discussion for the next 10 minutes, because I want to get some sleep. You know, I suppose just discussing all things gaming. Any breaking video game news from me, Chad? Have they announced that elusive Nintendo Direct? Do you know, apparently it's been something like, oh god, I forget, it's been like hundreds of days anyway since a full-blown Nintendo Direct. I think it was last September. Isn't that insane? That's almost a year. That's fucking crazy. We got a mini Direct back in March, right? Like, but that was it really. But I think people want a full-blown Direct. I don't see why it shouldn't happen, because other companies are announcing their games through. Do you know what's actually really hilarious? But it's interestingly hilarious. Nintendo was, to my knowledge, literally one of the first video game companies to use a digital platform to actually make their announcements, like to reveal games, to give updates on games, to discuss games with Nintendo Direct. The late great Satoru Iwata. Back in 2011, 2012, not sure the exact year, but yeah, they were literally one of the first companies to use like these like pre-recorded videos online to deliver news, updates, announcements, reveals of all things video games with Nintendo Direct. And the one fucking time where they're most the one time where they were coming in so much use now, in the middle of a viral pandemic, they're nowhere to be found. Yet every other company is doing exactly that. That's actually kind of hilarious but annoying at the same time. Like, every company is doing it now. Like Ubisoft, they're doing it. EA did it. indie companies are even doing it. Sony have done it. All these companies are using the same type of system that Nintendo would have been using. Like, think of all these directs we kind of got like throughout the year, like, you know, throughout the years, I should say, because there hasn't really been a direct. Here. I don't know, it's 23 minutes past 1, but is the screen moving or is it just me? Is that background moving, or am I absolutely fucking tripping, as they say? Somebody please tell me before I lose my shit. Because that has never happened before. That is weird.
Only the fire is moving.
Hardly. But I can see all the characters moving.
I see the dollar is moving.
Yeah, the dollar was moving. Adam Hunter was moving. They're all fucking moving. Lads, I'm glad for that anyway. I'm glad that I wasn't any person. Jesus Christ, I thought I was cracking up there for a second. That wasn't moving before. Weird shit. But yeah, don't you think it's hilariously, annoyingly ironic that like there hasn't been a Nintendo Direct in almost a year, like a proper Nintendo Direct in almost a year. I know in a time where we could fucking really use a Direct, and it's not only that where we could use it, it's just this is the one time where a Direct would be so fucking beneficial. So like every single aspect, every single advantage of a Direct, every single feature of a Direct, every single goal of a Direct would come in such use right now. You know, it's like this. It's like Nintendo Direct was made for a viral pandemic. Do you know what I mean? It's the perfect way to deliver news and updates on games without having to be anywhere, without having to be in a live stage, without like thousands of the members of the public having to be in an auditorium or whatever, like, you know. And it's just been none. Now I know it comes down to the working conditions as well, like at Nintendo, like, you know, obviously, but surely things have like died down a little bit over there, like, you know, by now. So yeah, hopefully anyway that rumor comes true. It's a very credible rumor, to be fair though. Same guy that predicted the Smash Direct, Smash presentation, Smash.
They will probably apologize about delaying Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid 4.
Oh, don't say that, no, chat. Don't say that. Christ, poor Rumble Jungle would have a heart attack. Good old Rumble Jungle. As you know, myself and Rumble Jungle, we've parted ways, but no hard feelings. But I'm sure that would not be good for Rumble Jungle if they delayed Metroid Prime 4. Holy shit. Me, honestly, I'm just like, I wouldn't think anything of it, to be honest with you, if Metroid Prime 4 got delayed. Like, it's not a Nintendo series that I'm kind of all over, you know. I could go without it, like. I could honestly go without it. But Breath of the Wild 2, Jesus, hopefully not now, hopefully not. Because it is interesting, because all those games, you know, would have been currently in development. But it's, you know, though, as far as games that were supposed to release in 2020, I find it hard to believe that those games would be delayed. And if they are delayed, I can't see them being delayed too much. Because, like, there's obviously, like, a release schedule, like, obviously, these games were well into development. Like, the games that were the games that were scheduled to release this year, like 2020, I can't see development of those games being too affected. But obviously, like games like Breath of the Wild and Metroid 4, that could possibly be delayed. But let's just hope that isn't the case. Like, Christ Almighty, let's hope that isn't the case. But if it is, like, you know, what can we do about it? We'll have to rely on third parties. We'll have to rely on EA to help us through that. Here, have EA come out and mentioned that they have a game on the NES. What's it called again? Immortal. Have they included that as their list of Switch support? Because I honestly wouldn't put it past them. Like, I'm actually laughing, but like at the same time, I'm actually deadly serious. I actually would not put it past EA to come out and say, yeah, we have a NES game on the Switch, everyone. It is something they would do. Like I'm past the stage of laughing, to be honest with you. Like, you know, it's like I'm not even angry or it's just literally it is what it is, as the saying says. But when it comes to EA, like, you know. But hopefully, you know, those games are not delayed. Breath of the Wild 2 and Metroid 4. Minutes away from ending the live stream. In my head, I'm debating whether to get Paper Mario tomorrow or whether to hold off. I'm leaning more towards. Oh yeah, I actually have some breaking news for you, Chad. Which is a first, actually. Activision are currently evaluating additional platforms. You think I should hold off? Yeah, I think you're right, to be honest with you. Like, I think you're right, man. I've got a lot of games to keep me going. I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm not mad about Paper Mario. If it was Mario and Luigi, I'd be all over it. I really would. But here, Chad, Activision are currently evaluating additional platforms. That's platforms with an S for Crash Bandicoot 4. Considering the game is coming to PS4 and Xbox One, then that obviously means PC and Switch, which is exactly what they did with the Spyro Reignited Trilogy. Because Crash Insane Trilogy was originally a PS4 exclusive, and then it came to PC, Xbox One and Switch. But with Spyro Reignited Trilogy, it came to PS4, Xbox One, and then eventually it came to PC and Switch. So they are currently evaluating additional platforms. Now, like, there's not much to evaluate, basically. Like, I mean, like, PC is PC. Like, a lot of people own PCs, to say the least. Switch is just the golden goose that keeps on laying. So there's not really much to evaluate there. Obviously, it comes down to. I always say that when it comes to porting games, it comes down to the resources of the company. So again, the exact same situation with Insane Trilogy and Reignited Trilogy. They will release the games first on PS4 and Xbox One because that's where their focus is, that's where their budget is, to be honest with you. Like, they don't have the budget to work on, you know, multiple platforms at the same time. So once they release the games on those platforms, make a bit of profit, make a bit of revenue, whatever else, then they will, you know, slowly but surely port it to PC and Switch. So, bit of breaking news there for you, Chad. As we speak, Activision are evaluating additional platforms for a future date. So, something to look forward to. I'm going to get it on PS5. I presume it's going to come to PS5.
Capcom's Dragon's Dogma is getting a Netflix anime in September.
I've seen that actually. I've never played a Dragon's Dogma game before, but it's great to see it's good to see another video game franchise coming to Netflix. Netflix is really picking up now in terms of video game franchise. I think Netflix is the platform for video game franchises. I think that if somebody wants to create a movie or a TV series of a video game and they want it to be successful and they want to satisfy the fan base, I think their best option is Netflix. It seems to be a very good platform there, like, you know. I'm waiting now for concrete information on the Netflix series. It's actually very confusing. Apparently there's supposed to be, if I read this correctly, and I probably didn't, to be honest with you, but if I did, there's apparently meant to be a full-on reboot of the Resident Evil movie franchise, as in like cinema, like the cinematic franchise. And apparently there's like 5 or 6 movies already signed up. And Mila Jovovich has been actually vocally critical about it. And I have to say, I don't want to sound like I'm biased. I don't want to sound like, you know, I'm like obsessed with Mila Jovovich, which you know I am. But I agree with her. She says more or less, good luck with that one. And she questions how many of the actors and the producers and everyone involved, she questions how many of them are actually fans of the series, and will that actually
Resident Evil 6 movie, emoji Smurf.
Resident Evil 6 movie. And she questions whether that will carry over onto the movie. So, and she talks about like how everyone on the original Resident Evil movie was very passionate about the movie franchise, and they all were passionate about the movie in general, and they all work together as a family. And she's basically saying, look, you know, this is going to be a cash grab, more or less, and it won't capture the same kind of feeling of the original. And I have to agree with her, to be honest with you. Like, if you're going to sign off the 6 movies already, you know it's going to be a cash grab. You know it's going to be a cash grab. You know, it's about money for them. Whereas, I think for Paul Anderson, to be honest with you, I think it was just. I mean, you can see the first movie was very low budget. You can see that. It was literally shot in fucking one area for 99% of the movie. One area, which is this underground lab. It was very low budget, very B movie type, you know. But anyway, so yeah, so anyway, there's a new reboot of the Resident Evil movie franchise in cinemas, which won't feature Mila Jovovich. But then there's supposed to be 2 separate Netflix series, which is just, how can you even? I find that very hard to believe. That would be confusing as fuck. Like, imagine browsing through Netflix as a casual viewer, and you see 2 separate Resident Evil shows. You're going to get confused. Like, you're going to watch one episode of one, and you're going to accidentally go into the other Netflix Resident Evil series and think that you've went back to the start, or you've missed an episode or something. It's just, it's not. I can't see it happening. But anyway, according to all these reports of people who think they know everything, they're saying that one of the Netflix Resident Evil series is going to feature the return of Alice from the original Resident Evil movie series.
Give us a series of Hunk.
That'd be interesting, to be fair though. Hunk's Adventures. That's what you can call it. The Adventures of Hunk. No, but apparently it's gonna like continue her story. Because to be fair, like, even though the last movie was called The Final Chapter and everyone involved was adamant this is the final chapter, it did actually like kind of like open up the possibility of there being a continuation, like, you know. But I think there could be a loophole. I think Mila Jovovich could actually get away with it, like, you know, because at the end of the day, what they said was it was the end of her cinematic story, and that's the word I kept using, cinematic. so there's no reason why she can't return as a Netflix series. And then the second one is supposed to be completely kind of separate to that one, and it sounds really fucked up, to be fair, actually. Extremely fucked up. It's supposed to have Albert Wesker's twin daughters or something, and sisters, and it sounds like somebody, it sounds like
Be right back. Mike died.
back, yeah. My mic was bitten by a zombie and dead. But it sounds like the script was written by one of those idiots who thinks they know
Wesker's
about...
binary daughters.
I know, yeah. But it sounds like it was written by those idiots on YouTube who think they know about Resident Evil, and they're called Alex Wesker. They think Alex Wesker is a he, and they think it's Albert Wesker's daughter or some shit like that. That's what it sounds like. But it's supposed to have three kind of main kind of like factors. It's supposed to revolve around obviously the Umbrella Corporation, Washington DC, and I think a mental institution or something. Like, it sounds, on paper it sounds like shit, to be honest with you. I don't understand why somebody can't just look into the very expansive and interesting and quite simply unused Resident Evil lore, especially centering around Oswald E. Spencer, the founder and president and CEO of the Umbrella Corporation, and his true intentions, his true goals and visions and aspirations, and the true reason why the Umbrella Corporation was founded in the first place. Like, that alone could span a Netflix series. Just that alone, hands down. Do you know what I mean? But there's so much more. There's his business partners / friends who shared his views, and his views were very controversial views. They were basically eugenics views. Anyone who knows anything about eugenics will know just how controversial that is. It's basically scientific racism is what it is. It's the belief that only select human beings should populate the world, human beings that have superior genetics and intelligence, and anyone else, you know, and they believe that people of like minority races, and people who were, like, you know, very sick, or people who were homeless, or whatever the case might be, people who, you know, weren't very intelligent, and people who didn't have, you know, very good genetics, you know what I mean? These people who share eugenics felt those people shouldn't populate the world, that they should actually be excluded. Again, it is scientific racism is what it is. So that was never really kind of explored in the Resident Evil series. Like, a lot of people who claim to be die-hard Resident Evil fans will actually, they don't even know that the only party that was interested in biological weapons when it comes to the Umbrella Corporation was the American military. It was the American military. They're the ones who went to Umbrella Pharmaceuticals, because that's what they originally were called, and said, look, will ye develop biological weapons for us and we'll give you a lot of money. Spencer was like, I need the money to achieve my visions and goals. Now, that's not to say that the Umbrella Corporation weren't, like, you know, researching the viruses, and they weren't, like, researching biological weapons, but it wasn't done in a way where they wanted to be, like, it's hard to put it, like, Spencer was researching the progenitor virus, but he wasn't researching it to create biological weapons. He was using it to create a new breed of superhumans with higher intelligence and genes. But then they were contacted by the American military, and they were like, oh, we could use that progenitor virus to create biological weapons, and it was the money for Oswald E. Spencer. And then that's the only reason, like, you have, like, you know, all these biological weapons in the Resident Evil series. It was basically used. They would go to they would be sold off to the US military. A lot of people wouldn't know that. Like, a lot of people wouldn't know the true intentions of the foundation of the Umbrella Corporation. So I think that kind of lore could be explored in the Netflix series. You know, and you could have this kind of like power struggle between the three founders of the Umbrella Corporation, these three kind of like long-term friends and colleagues of Oswald E. Spencer, who all shared the eugenics movement, but they all had their own kind of like personal goals of what they wanted to do themselves. You know, for the Ashford family, it was reviving the legacy of the Ashford family, the once great Veronica Ashford, and to basically create like Veronica, and that's how the Alfred and Alexia twins were actually created. They were created with her DNA, Veronica's DNA. So that's what Alexander Ashford wanted out of the eugenics movement. And for Marcus, honestly, I don't remember a whole lot about him other than that he was obsessed with leeches. That's all I can remember. I know that he was always strong on like obedience and power and discipline and all that kind of stuff. You know, I remember that from a quote in Resident Evil 0. But to be honest with you, there's not really a whole lot I can remember about him. I feel sorry for him actually, because he was assassinated by the Umbrella Corporation. His research into he was actually the main person who actually developed the T virus. Actually, was James Marcus, but Spencer had him assassinated. So like that kind of like power struggle within the Umbrella Corporation could be explored. There's a ton of stuff. I've always spoke about the George Trevor and his family, like the architect of the Spencer Mansion, and what he and his family endured when they were invited into the mansion. I mean, how is anybody not looking at this lore and saying, Jesus Christ, we really need to tell that story. Let's contact Capcom and say, Capcom, how do you feel about exploring this lore? I don't see how they can't do that. Like I think any die-hard Resident Evil fan should know this lore. So if they were watching a movie about it, they should be really satisfied. Come again? Apologies, sorry, I literally have no idea how to pronounce your name, and I literally have no idea what you said as well. My apologies, but if you can understand me...
Welcome, Nguyen.
Nguyen, okay. Thankfully my computer voice will pronounce it. Nguyen. Nguyen, welcome to Green-HillGaming. You're very welcome to my channel. I really appreciate that. I was playing a bit of Streets of Rage 4 earlier at Arcade. I know just having a general discussion about gaming, and we're talking about the rumoured, well not rumoured actually, there was confirmation that there will be a Resident Evil Netflix series, so just discussing that briefly. But you're very welcome to the channel, and apologies for not understanding what you're saying. So yeah, I just think there's tons of lore, and I think that any die-hard Resident Evil fan should know the lore, and they should be very happy about it being expanded. And this whole kind of brick wall kind of situation where these like producers encounter, where it's like, okay, if we make a series that's just for the fans, then what about newcomers? will they watch it? I think anybody would love the story of three fucking rich, powerful, greedy racists who want to control the world and be gods in their vision of the world. I think that's a very relatable story in today's world anyway. The mentality that that just because people have power and money and fucking stuff that they can be viewed as gods or whatever. There's tons of shows across Netflix that kind of tell that type of story, and secret scientific experiments and fucking anyone, you don't have to be a fan of Resident Evil to relate to that. And I honestly strongly believe that you don't even need to have zombies. Just tell a story. Just tell a good story that makes sense, that's enjoyable to watch, that die-hard Resident Evil fans will understand, but anyone who doesn't play Resident Evil will just be interested in the story in general. That's what I think anyway. But either way, there's tons of lore. There's absolutely tons of lore. There's also one of the first projects that Oswald E. Spencer initiated. Well, it was all to do with his eugenics project, all to do with his vision of creating a new world populated by superhumans. And that was the Wesker Children project, where he intended on basically kidnapping some of the most intelligent children from all over the world, injecting them with the progenitor virus, which would basically turn them into superhumans, basically. It was a very powerful virus that would kind of dramatically increase their DNA and make them a lot more powerful, essentially. It's a completely fictional virus, there's no other way to put it than saying that it would literally make you into a superhuman. But that was his first project. That's a very, they never really explored that, that's an entire series right there, just that entire project, you know what I mean? And every now and again you kind of get to see on screen Spencer, and he's discussing what he wants to achieve, and you might have Albert being shown, Alex being shown, because they were the two surviving Wesker children. So why this isn't already been done is just amazing. I don't understand why somebody hasn't already done this. Maybe someone just, I don't know, maybe not everyone is just as obsessed with the Resident Evil lore as I am, but I'm telling you one thing, if I had the resources, I'd be doing it 100%. But I think it'd be crazy though if there actually is going to be 6 brand new cinematic movies and 2 separate Netflix series. That's going to confuse a lot of people. It wouldn't confuse me, because I'd be able to understand that there's a difference between the movie franchise and these 2 Netflix series. But anyone that's a casual Resident Evil fan, or just a casual movie viewer, would be their mind would explode. So yeah, Chad, Netflix now is definitely the home of actually video game franchises in terms of movies. I think that's going to be where everyone is going to go. I know that there's an Uncharted movie in development, and Tom Holland from Spider-Man is in it. But I think after that movie gets released, I honestly think that every video game franchise is going to go straight to Netflix, because I think that they go in a different direction, and in the sense that they don't try to be this big massive action type movie. They just stay true to the source material as much as possible. I mean, look no further than the Witcher series. I haven't seen it, but a lot of people have discussed it. The funny thing about the Witcher is the Witcher is from a graphic novel, a comic or something. It's a graphic novel, comic thingamajig. So that's the thing there, actually. But still. Right, there's also Monster Hunter coming out. I forgot about that. But there's yeah, I just think there's so much lore in Resident Evil. So much potential, but instead, all I'm hearing is fucking this idea of like I don't know. You know what? One thing as well I wanted to talk about. Actually, this is how I'm going to end the live stream. Just something I noticed.
Superman building a PC is news. Emoji happy tears.
Superman building a PC is news. Okay. Well, that's random news. I don't think I've actually ever come across such random news on Green-HillGaming. Then Superman building a PC. But you know what I actually came across? I just realised that I was thinking about Resident Evil, the final chapter, and I was thinking about the story of it. And spoiler alert to anyone who hasn't seen that movie yet. One of the main characters in that movie and in the Resident Evil movie series in general, Dr. Isaacs, like one of the co-founders of the Umbrella Corporation, again in the movie series, he had this vision of ending the world and restarting it in his image, right? That's a little bit similar to Oswald E. Spencer and he's kind of like view for the world. Now, he didn't plan on ending the world, but it's kind of similar. Like, a lot of people think that Paul Anderson doesn't stay true to the original, but if you actually look very closely, you'll actually see that maybe it's a case of he does know about the series, but maybe he wants to kind of like incorporate the elements a little bit differently. Like in the original Resident Evil movie, there's a character called Spencer, so he does like throw it in there, like he does throw it in there. But I think it's very interesting analogy that I actually, it took me this long to pick up, but Dr. James Isaac, or sorry, not Dr. James, what am I saying? Dr. Isaac, I think that, well actually no, originally I thought that he was actually very like William Birkin type character, but he might have actually been a Spencer character the whole time, in terms of his vision for the world. It's interesting how Paul Anderson made Wesker the CEO of Umbrella, because he did work for Umbrella for a very long time in the Resident Evil series, from a researcher to a security operative, but pretty much like in terms of the Resident Evil like franchise, the Resident Evil like timeline, like from the very first game he was already betraying Umbrella for an opposing organization. He was stealing their information. So like, yeah, you wouldn't quite see him being the CEO of Umbrella. But then again, in saying that, later on in the Resident Evil video game franchise, he wanted to establish a new Umbrella. He wanted to bring back Umbrella. So there is that too. I think it's going to be very interesting to see like 6 brand new Resident Evil movies being shown. It's interesting that if they're planning 6 movies, then they must surely have in their head a plan of what those 6 movies are going to be centered around. I just really hope that they do explore the lore. There's so much history, so much backstory to some of the most pivotal characters and the Resident Evil series. Like, some of the more modern Resident Evil fan base will say like, oh, Leon Kennedy, it's all about Leon Kennedy. Everything comes back to Leon Kennedy and his denim jacket and his cool hairstyle. But no, all joking aside, some of the more pivotal characters in Resident Evil series, there's so much to be told. Like, everything goes back to these characters like Oswald E. Spencer. How about a character that we've never actually seen, Dr. Wesker, which is the person who basically worked with Oswald E. Spencer to initiate the Wesker Children Project. Like, to get to see the vision of that project shown for the first time, because you don't really see that in the movies, in the game series. Like, see, that's the thing. That's one thing you always hear from fans in general, people in general, and the people who make the movies. They say, well, you know, there's a difference between playing a video game and watching a video game movie, and there is. Like, the games has to be about the gameplay. The games has to be about solving puzzles and shooting bosses and stuff. But a movie can tell. The movie is about a story, so telling a story. So you can go more in depth into Oswald E. Spencer's character and his background. You know, so. Anyway, again, if I had the resources, if I was a movie director or whatever else, that's what I'd be doing. I'd leave the gameplay for the game. You know what I mean, obviously. And I would use the opportunity of a movie to tell a hell of a lot more story, like, behind some of the more pivotal characters. Anyway. It is 2 a.m. here. On the Emerald Coast, that is Ireland. The Emerald Island. So it's very late. I wish I was a night owl, but I'm not a night owl. I'm fucking never
Baker
a night
Family
owl.
Sitcom Comedy.
Baker Family Sitcom Comedy. Now that would be interesting. But I don't think the Baker Family is. That would be a cash grab, in my opinion. That would be like somebody trying to make like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movie, but except they're just using the Resident Evil namesake to kind of, you know. I just think that it should just, before I end the live stream, I just think if they're going to focus on like characters from the Resident Evil series, like you mentioned the Baker family there, I just think it would make a lot more sense if they're just kind of like, do you know when you read a document in Resident Evil, do you know why that is it breaks up the gameplay, right? It breaks up the storytelling from the point of view of the cinematics and the gameplay, and that's Capcom's way of giving you the story, giving you the backstory. Like, you know when you read in the original Resident Evil how the virus escaped, and you kind of hear about their desperate struggle to survive and stuff, they can't really show you that in the game, because otherwise you're going to be sitting there watching like more cutscenes and cinematics than actual gameplay, right? So that's why they tell you these things through documents. But like when you're making a video game, you don't have to worry about that. You're not going to be looking back at a document on a movie, are you? You know, you're going to be seeing that. So, like, do you know what I mean? Like, and you actually do see that actually in the original Resident Evil movie. You actually see when the virus breaks and when the staff get infected and when they turn into zombies, and you get to see all that. So that's kind of what should happen, not like Resident Evil, the Baker family. Like, you know what I mean? It shouldn't be about that. And plus we've seen enough of the Baker family anyway, and there was even an origin story DLC as well, so it wouldn't be needed. But again, I think that there's a lot to be said about the foundation of the Umbrella Corporation, the true, like, origin to the biological weapon division of the Umbrella Corporation, which is the US military's interest in biological weapons. And just so much can be told. Like, you can tell all that in such interesting ways. Like I know all this, and a lot of people know all this from the Resident Evil lore, but I just think you could still add, like, mystery to people who probably never played the Resident Evil series. Like, you could think that the US military are trying to, like, take down the Umbrella Corporation, and then by the end you could find out that they were actually, like, that they were the ones who were actually interested in the biological weapons. Maybe it's a case of Oswald H. Spencer didn't provide them with a biological weapon, and now the US military are trying to kind of, like, tear them down, but then again they're the ones who are actually involved in it. Like, you could, you know, there's a great kind of twist there, like, you know, you could tell. And then everyone thinks that the Umbrella Corporation is kind of interested in biological weapons, when in actual fact it's not. Like, and their leader.
You heard about the PT game under being developed?
Do you know what, man?
Reggie is part of the board company Rogue, that's the publishers.
Huh? Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant show a PT. What's PT game? You know what, man? This whole PT Silent Hill, man, I'm actually getting sick of it. I love Silent Hill, and this is why I'm getting. I hate the fact that it's been fucking dragged. It's been dragged out. Like, either release it, either announce it, or don't announce it. Like, Resident Evil Village got announced. Do you know what I mean? And I'm delighted they got announced. But, like, I've been hearing about Resident Evil, or I've been hearing about Silent Hill being announced now for a very long time. Too long, to be honest with you. So I'm sick to death of hearing about it. Like, there doesn't seem to be a week that goes by without somebody saying that, hey, you know, Silent Hill is coming back, it's going to get announced. Look, if it does, great, but I'm certainly not going to hold my breath, because I'd be fucking dead if I did. Anyway, it's extremely late here in Ireland, so this is where I'm going to end the live stream. So thank you for watching my Street of Rage 4 live stream. I didn't get very far at all in arcade. I got to stage 3, but, you know, it was on hard mode. So thank you to everyone who watched. I really hope that you enjoyed the gameplay, and I also hope that you enjoyed my very extensive discussion about all things video games. So I don't normally say this in my live streams, but if somebody is watching this, see you, chat. Thanks so much for watching. If somebody is watching my channel for the very first time, if you're just stumbling through this video maybe a week after it gets uploaded, maybe 5 years after it gets uploaded, if you're listening to my words right now, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like this kind of stuff, if you like this kind of content, just feel free to subscribe. I don't normally say that, but what the hell, you know? Because, like, if you're interested in it, like, you know, just hit the subscribe button, as they say. No, I don't even. You know, I was going to try it out by saying that. It doesn't even. I don't know. It just gets cringy when I ask people to subscribe to my channel. It's just too cringy. It's too fucking cringy. It's too, like, demandy. Like, it's too,
and
like,
donate to the Patreon.
Donate to the. I know. Yeah, I couldn't do that. Like, donate to my Patreon and fucking. Oh, I couldn't do that, man. No, I'm not gonna ever ask people to subscribe to my channel. All I can say is, if you like what you see, you know, Green-HillGaming is the place to be. That rhymes. If you like what you see.
Weekly V-Bucks giveaways.
Man, that's actually right out. If you like what you see on my channel, then Green-HillGaming is the place to be. Isn't that cool? Cool little. That's my slogan now. It's my new slogan. My catchphrase. Love it. But no, it's true. Like, I let people decide themselves, like, whether they want to subscribe to my channel, whether they want to watch my channel. You know, and I'm actually proud of that fact. You know what I mean? I mean, it's okay to be like I'm not cocky when I say that I'm proud. You know what I mean? But I am. Like, I'm proud of the fact that like when I started, like, a lot of people well, bring up the fact that I've been on YouTube since 2009.
Subscribe to Johnny's Twitch channel.
So that's like 11 years, right? Subscribe to my Twitch channel. I don't even have one. But a lot of people will say, but Johnny's been on YouTube since 2009. Here's the thing. Yeah, I have been on YouTube since 2009, but I haven't done absolutely feck all. I wasn't doing anything on my channel. My channel was non-existent. It was just there for the sake of it, right? When I started like doing gameplay streams, right? Much later, like I didn't start doing full-on live streams until a couple of years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, right? I literally had like 16 subs, something like that. So I'm proud of the fact that I went from 16 subs to 228 subs by just letting people free willingly join my live stream, and if they like what they see, then they subscribe. So I'm not cocky when I say that, and it's not desperate when I say that. I'm just saying I'm proud of the fact that I was able to deliver somewhat, to my surprise anyway, entertaining content. I didn't think from the start that I'd be delivering like entertaining content, but obviously I'm doing something right. I got Chad Middleton in the live stream, so I must be doing something right, you know. And yeah, that's all I'll do. I'll continue being me. I'll continue playing the games that I like to play, and do my best to be entertaining. And I'll just let people decide for themselves whether they want to, you know, like my content, dislike my content, subscribe to my channel, and that's the way it's going to be. I'm not going to pretend I'm anything or anyone that I'm not, and I'm not going to be demanding people to subscribe to my channel. And to those, because you're always going to get haters, but with haters, I always like to kind of get into their head, you know, because they're the ones who try to get into my head, but I get into their head like a parasite, and I stay there, and I just get to them. And what I would say to them is like, because what they will say to me is, yeah, you have 328 subs, but you've been on YouTube for almost 10 years. It took you 10 years to get there. That's not correct. That is not correct. My first videos, man, there were nothing. Like, there was nothing to watch. You know what I mean? There was no content. It wasn't a streaming channel. I've only started streaming games literally like a couple of years ago. So in a couple of years, I went again from like 16 subs to 328 subs. So I want to say that because it's important to be, you know, proud of yourself. You have to be in life whenever you can. And that's all I want to say, really. So yeah, I'm not going to ask. I was originally going to say, like, if you like what you see, subscribe. But what I'd say is, if you like what you see, there's a lot more to come. Or, as I said, and it sounds better, if you like what you see, then Green-HillGaming is the place to be. That's how I'm going to end each live stream. Boom. I love it. Okay. I'll be going to sleep tonight, though, saying that in my head, saying that in my sleep. Anyway, speaking of sleep, I gotta get to sleep. So, I'll see you all next time on Green-HillGaming. And if you like what you see, Green-HillGaming is the place to be.